Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Tea Time with Pamela Tate Roger. Good morning, everyone. Hi, Celia. Trying to reduce some of my windows here. About to share my screen. How's everybody doing this morning?
No. Okay.
Okay. Oh, are you all seeing my blue screen?
Yes, we are. Good morning, Pam. This is Celia. I'm going to have to go on mute, but I'm so excited about the training today.
Thank you. I'm excited to continue where we were last week, and I started putting together slides, and don't laugh at me because you know I don't do slides. So as you see, presentation subtitle, I don't have one on there. But good morning, everyone. This is Pamela Tate Roger, and we are talking today about social media auditing. Last week, we started just kind of reviewing some of our websites. Kind of looked at a few things, and I'm going to make this smaller because I can't see my other controls, so I apologize for that. Get that off of there. At least we can go from this function. Okay, and I'm going to ask someone is got a lot of background noise. There we go. I want this screen. Sorry. Sure, everybody. That's okay. If you can put yourself on mute, that'll be amazing. Okay, so we can move this over to my corner. And remember, chat doesn't really work for me. I have a difficult time working my screens to see that. So what we're going to do is go on and resume the share of the screen. I won't do it as a super large screen. So here we are. Today we're going to talk about social media auditing, and I would like to do this in a large screen format, but for some reason, let's see, that did not work. Which is why I don't usually record these, but since you guys have requested it, now I have to try and figure out all the bells and whistles to make things look decent and in order, and I have tons of stuff on my desktop that I don't generally like showing. Someone is text messaging me why. Let's see. Let's get in the participant screen and close you. There we go. Make that smaller. I don't know where it went, but that's okay. Okay, so today we're talking about social media auditing. Last week we had kind of started that with reviewing a few of my social media pages. I will not be showing that today because everybody had a homework assignment. Did everybody get to kind of do their homework assignment at all this week? Which was you should be reviewing your own social media so that we can kind of, I don't see where the participants list went, where we can kind of see where you think you might need some help with your social media, and to kind of gauge and see what is it that you're actually putting on social media, what is it looking like. Now this week we're going to talk about what's working and what's not working. So when you think about a social media audit, generally speaking, it's a little more than just kind of like, I didn't really like that post, or you want to look at engagements of posts. Did someone respond to what you posted? Meaning, like if you posted went a trip to Jamaica and 3 people posted, that really wasn't an engaging post. But if you said, if I planned a trip to Jamaica in the month of July 2019, how many of you would be interested in going? And 20 people said they would be interested. That's a pretty engaging post, right? So those are the types of things that we are going to be reviewing. You're going to take a step-by-step look at your own social media and begin to audit and see what's working and what's not working. We're also going to kind of start to review how not to get penalized on social media. We hear a lot of times that people say they got locked up in Facebook jail. Now, there's several things that you can do to get put in Facebook jail. And with Facebook, they're constantly changing the things that they say that you're allowed to do versus what you're not allowed to do. The algorithms are constantly changing to kind of like catch people who are advertising or monetizing without paying Facebook directly for advertising, because they collect advertising dollars. That's how they keep this program free for us to use. This platform is free because the advertisers are paying them, which is what keeps them in business. And so there's a few things that, we inadvertently do, or sometimes, blatantly do on Facebook that can actually get you put in Facebook jail. One of those things are the amount of postings that you do. If you're posting the same exact posting rapidly, like say you had an advertisement because you're doing a travel party and you post it on your own page, your regular page, then you post it on your business page, then you post it in your business group, and then you post it in Evolution Travel, then you post it in Evolution Travel events, and then you post it on your friend's page, not tagging people, you post it on their page. Then you turn around and you post it in work from home in Texas, work from home in Atlanta, work from home in Cincinnati, work from home in San Francisco, work from home in Los Angeles, work from home in Detroit, and then all of a sudden you go to make another post and you go, hey, what happened? What do you all think happened? Anybody who can unlock their phone, unlock it. I'm going to give you a quick overview of what happened. What do you think happened?
Facebook jail. Facebook jail.
Facebook jail. Now, why do you think you got Facebook jail?
Because they think it's spammy.
They think that a human is not posting it because you've posted it too quickly. That's one. Two, it comes off as spammy because it's not customized and it's just getting dropped into groups. And then three, technically, you're advertising an event. Now, if you say it's $5 for them to get in, you've now advertised something for a fee, and Facebook did not get paid for that. It's advertising. It's no longer just a general post. It's advertising. It's advertising for money. And Facebook does not get paid for that. So the algorithms that Facebook now has will sense when people are putting things out there with dollar figures on there, the keywords, it looks for keywords, and that quickly as I snap my finger, it can decipher whether or not this is something that they believe someone is being paid for and is not paying Facebook for. It can be something that's interpreted as spam. It can be something that's interpreted as someone is not human posting, i.e. Hootsuite or any of the social media programming programs that allow you to schedule a post and run it rampantly throughout social media. They don't get paid for that, right? And so they try and knock that off. And then, of course, not only are they not getting paid for it, if people complain, so like if someone in a group goes, I'm sick of seeing this lady's post, and they report it, then you go to Facebook jail. Now, you do get the opportunity to kind of like explain what your post was about. You can say, oh, no, this didn't violate the community standards because this was a thing for charity, or this was a meeting and it only told people who were agents that they had to pay, but it's actually free to the public. And if someone reads that, they might release it. And sometimes they will release the post, but they will still put you personally in Facebook jail for like 5 to 7 days. That's a warning telling you you need to cool it on these posts. Some people heed the warning, some people don't. Or they change the posting slightly, ever so slightly, so that it can get reposted. And then what they'll find again is the algorithms will get read, those keywords will still get flagged, and then what happens is you go back into Facebook jail, right? So some of us have friends that we love very, very dearly who are constantly in Facebook jail. Nikki Lee had a training last week. I think I watched her last Tuesday, and she was talking about Facebook jail. One of the ways that we can also get put in Facebook jail, because we are advertising travel, is if you are putting things out there and you have like dollar amounts on them and posting them in specific places. So let's kind of do a quick review of that. Did you know that if you get on social media, specifically Facebook, there's a few things that can happen with your social media activity that can lead to you being banned from a group, banned or blocked from a page, temporarily blocking your accounts. They will do no exposure, meaning it'll show up on your page, but nobody saw it, which would also limit engagement, right? Less engagement would be a result of that because nobody saw your post. And then other things, you'll just have no outcomes. They'll be like, yeah. It's kind of like that unfollow filter where nobody ever sees your post. So you're just posting, thinking you're doing these great posts. And you're like, nobody's engaging with me. Nobody really liked what I posted. Well, if you're finding that your posts are not getting any type of engagement, here's a couple of things that you can do to change that. When you make a post, tag a person in the post. So if you think you'd like Pam to come to your travel party, tag Pam in that. Tag current agents in that. Tag people who are in your local area in the post. Then if you find there's no engagement at that point, you can almost guarantee that you have been put in some type of filter on Facebook regarding that specific post. So that's one. Another thing that you should probably be looking for is just you want to make sure that your posts are not posting anything that's illegal or anything that's should be confidential. Auto scheduling tools, which are those tools like I was just talking about, where I said if you are getting things and you have stuff out there for engagement with other people, like your groups, and you're finding that people are not necessarily looking at your post, that's something, again, you need to revisit. What is it that you're posting? Because you don't want to get your things blocked where no one can view it, right? That's the point of being on social media, so that people can see it and people can appreciate what you've put out in the universe, because what you're putting out there is important, or we believe that it's important, and we definitely want it to get before our audiences. But if they can't see it, they're not going to engage in it. And if they can't engage in it, that means it wasn't successful, correct? So those are a few of the things that we definitely want to address and talk about. So we're going to move on to, let's see, going back up here to go to my next slide. Okay. So we're going to talk about identify on which social media networks you have a presence already. Now, we talked about a few of these things last week, like who has a Twitter page? Are you actually using your Twitter page? Who has Facebook? Who has Instagram? Do you use IG? Do you use Twitter? Do you use Periscope? What is it exactly that you use? And what's working in those things that you are currently using? Because if they're not working, then what's the point of using them, correct? So I hope everybody took that time and did the homework assignment I gave you, which was come up with a list of what social media you're working with currently, and basically kind of get an overview of if it's working for you. So if you have a presence already across the platforms that you are currently using, each and every one of them, you should have your name pages should all match. So it should be Savor the World Traveling More page, Savor the World Traveling More group, Savor the World Traveling More IG, Savor the World Traveling More Pinterest, Savor the World Traveling More Twitter, Savor the World Traveling More Periscope. If you're utilizing all of those platforms, they should all be with those headings. The only exception to this is if you are using LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn, because it is a person-to-person networking business established page, it's important that you are putting your best face forward, and it is your personal face, because you are showing working professionals your resume, in essence, on LinkedIn. So you would list out all of your business acumen and your CV and what you've done to date. You will put highlights about being a travel agent and the types of groups or types of trips that you have booked. And then you put teasers out there where you talk about traveling for business or personal travel or traveling and working with companies that have people who travel. You also want to engage other people's articles. If people are putting things up that they like or talking about business, engage with those, because at the end of the day, you are still a business person. You do still need to know about computing and customer relational management tools and different things that you would interact with regular businesses. It's great to get into travel groups with LinkedIn. It's great to connect with event planning groups with LinkedIn. Of course, it's great to connect with general business partners in LinkedIn and your personal friends and anybody you've ever worked with. Why? Because they're going to see your profile and you can approach them about booking their travel. So again, every platform should have the same exact name and match your brand, meaning it shouldn't be Savor the World Travel here, Savor the World Travel and more there. It should be consistent, consistent, consistent. Once you create an official page for your business and your personal profiles, you have to make sure that it's consistent. One of those things, if you have a personal Facebook page, I try to keep my personal things on my personal Facebook page for friends and family. And if someone's a business associate and they see my personal page, my personal philosophy is it's my personal page and I'm going to put what I want to put on my personal page. I don't put cursing on my page. I might have one post that I do every year, which is the F blank, blank, blank princesses. And it just kind of talks about women and equality. And it's funny because it comes with potty mouths for these little girls, but they're talking about very real issues for women, the women that they're going to grow up and become. It's a little shocking. And, it just kind of makes people take a pause and go, whoa. And then they think about it and go, man, that was really on point. But generally speaking, there's no cursing on my pages. I don't go into tirades where I'm cursing people out. Try to stay away from subliminal messages. If you have something to say to someone, you don't need to post it on Facebook. Have a conversation with them. If you're trying to engage on a personal level, again, I'd say try not to have your business clients on your personal page. That is the purpose of having a Facebook group or a Facebook business page. So that's my acumen and 2 cents on that. Now we can talk about a few things with Facebook that will get you, one, lack of engagement, and two, some naughty naughties in the Facebook jail category as well. For your cover photo, you want to make sure that it's an engaging cover photo. But did you know Facebook has guidelines for cover photos? Cover photos are not supposed to have ads. They're not supposed to have your contact information, like no websites. It's not supposed to have your phone number. It's not supposed to have your business address. It's not supposed to have any kind of like, join me today and receive a free coupon to go on a 2-day trip. Those things are not supposed to be in your cover pages. Those are general public browsing areas, and those can actually get your account closed on Facebook if you're advertising in your headline, your cover photo. Like if it's something that just said Evolution Travel, that's acceptable. But if you put Evolution Travel, contact Pamela Tate Roger, 415-851-5538, book your new trip today, that could actually get your Facebook account closed. That is the guideline that you're not supposed to do that. You can do that on your page, but that is not what the cover pages are supposed to be for. Also, another thing that can get you blocked or having problems on both Instagram and Facebook, including Twitter, giveaways and sweepstakes. So Facebook, you should not be using their functionalities or their different terms in order to run a giveaway or a sweepstake. And if you do, you have to have a disclaimer. Facebook has nothing to do with your giveaway or your raffle or whatever you're doing. And you have to post official rules. Official rules have to be posted, because if someone comes back and complains and says, I was on this contest on Save the World Travel and More, and I didn't win the contest, and they didn't say that I couldn't win if I didn't do blank because they had no official rules posted. It didn't say that they were going to draw on 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and they didn't announce it until Friday when they said they were announcing it on Monday. Also, you cannot do raffles and things that involve firearms, alcohol, tobacco, adult products, as well as obviously prescriptions, pharmaceuticals. So once you've identified which social networks that you already have a presence on, we're going to go and do a quick recap to move to the next one. Once you do that, make sure your name page matches across your all platforms. So on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Pinterest, and on Periscope, all the same name. The only exception is LinkedIn, because LinkedIn will be your personal name. Then you also have to make sure that your cover page does not have direct contact information. It cannot have your name, your telephone number, and your email address and or website address. You can do it, but you can also have your page locked up or get put in Facebook jail. So these are some of those unknown causes for winding up in Facebook jail. And then, of course, no giveaways can be advertised or raffles or anything in your cover page as well. And platform for Instagram is pretty similar. And of course, with Twitter, if you're doing any types of things like that, you also still have to follow within those guidelines. So now let's look at step 2. Assess the usefulness of each account. Now, we talked about how some of our accounts I don't use, and I don't find them to be that useful because, one, I'm not that plugged into those particular accounts, and I'm really not pushing content to those accounts. But if you find that it's not useful, then you need to decide if that's going to be an account you wish to continue with, or if you wish to go on and focus on a different area of social media. One way to do this would be make yourself a chart. And in that chart, you can do Twitter, Facebook, YouTube if you have a YouTube channel, Instagram, Pinterest, Periscope, LinkedIn, and just list it out as a chart and kind of check and see, are you using it? Is it are you getting any engagement with it? When was the last time you updated it? What does it actually look like? And if you find that anything is lacking in those pages, the next thing you want to do is ask yourself, am I really interested in maintaining this page, or is this something that I should return to later and focus on a couple of social media sites? Now, I say this because for me, I'm constantly running, and I can't sit down, even with an auto poster, to get all these posts scheduled, whereas some people really, really are good at this. I actually talked Patrice into working on her social media a few years ago, and she has outmastered what I thought was the master. She has this down. She works on multiple platforms. She has multiple pages, always comes up with fresh content, and it's a lot more time consuming than the time that I personally have, but she does it very well. I mean, there's some other people. JG does a pretty good job with social media posting. And if the accounts are useful and you're getting engagement, then I say go for it. If not, you don't need to have an account for each one of these platforms. See which platform you're getting the most engagement, meaning back and forth with clients or potential clients, and utilize that platform and do it well. Because again, there's no need in having 7 platforms and only 2 of them are actively getting engagements or people are responding to. What's the purpose of maintaining the other 5 when you can actually focus that attention on those 2 that are working and functioning very, very well? So you want to assess this usefulness by just looking to see, are you engaged with your target audience? Who is your target audience? Are you trying to get teenagers? Are you trying to get the spring break crowd? Are you trying to get professional adults? Are you trying to work with families, stay-at-home moms who plan a vacation for their families? Are you trying to book for professional organizations or like their annual conferences or a networking group that does annual vacations together? Who is your, and key word is your target market? Who is your potential client, or who is your ideal client? Some people will say, all of my clients are my ideal client. Well, if you have to do 5,000 bookings for one person, that seems like a lot of additional work, right? When if you had an ideal client who fit into a specific ideal client profile, i.e. professional working woman, who is affiliated with professional network, i.e. a sorority, or i.e. a women's group, those might be your potential clientele. You know why? Even though you're working with that one individual can connect you to 200 individuals to do bookings for those 200 families or those organizations times 2 times a year versus 5,000 individual bookings. Are you seeing the difference in the numbers? If you're doing a group of 10, that's one booking versus 5,000 individual bookings. You're spinning your wheels because everybody can't be your ideal potential client. You have to determine who is your ideal client and how can you best assist them based upon your specialty niche or what you've decided is going to be your area of expertise. That is really, really important. Okay, so now we're going to move on to checking your social media profiles for consistency. We talked about this last week, and it just, I can't say enough about it. You want to properly represent your brand. Who is your brand? Your brand is you. What do you represent in terms of service to your clients? What is your specialty area that you can contribute and provide expertise to your clients? People want to know that you are consistent. People want to know that what you do, you are doing well and you are an expert at it. People want to identify you. People should be able to identify one of your posts before they even see your name, right? Here's an example of that. When someone says danger zone travel, you instantly think Patrice Abel Vance. In my particular circle, when people say savor the world travel, they instantly think of Paris or European travel because that is my area of expertise. The people that I book for know this. I've expanded into a few other areas, but people who know me recognize my posts before they even see my name in a post or my brand name in a post. And that's the type of recognition that you want to develop. And you want to make sure that your social media profiles are consistent to reflect that. Another new thing that I'm recommending to everybody, whenever you're doing a post about travel, you should always put your website address in that post. At least your website, if not your website, and a contact telephone number. Even if it's just have a great morning, it's Facebook, great morning Facebook, savor the world, travel, and more. And then right after that, I'll put a new line, www.savortheworldtravel.com. People are more inclined to check and click off on a website if they've read a happy message, if they've seen some place that they might want to go. They don't want to keep looking around for additional information. So if you keep those two items in your posts at all times, people will begin to know, oh, I should click this because it's going to click over to the page. If I'm advertising a trip, even if it's the Super Bowl trip for Patrice's big thing, I'm one of the agents selling that. I always have Savor the World Travel and More right there. They can click the post. It goes directly over to the page where it talks about that particular event. And that's consistent. And that's something that I've just started doing. So I'm recommending it to everybody because somebody may say, well, she's always advertising her business. Well, again, it's your business page. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Advertising your business. It's consistent, and you want to get it so consistent that people are going to go, oh yeah, that was her post. And they can identify that, right? The next thing you want to do is make sure that you have up-to-date description about your company. If you change anything in your company on your about page, you change it immediately. If you are now a Cuba specialist, you want to put that out there. Update. Recently completed training on Cuba, and I am now a qualified Cuba specialist. Post your certificate. Let them know what you're doing. Post a bunch of things about Cuba, little known facts, how to travel to Cuba. Let them know that you're booking for Cuba. Let them know that there are dates available for them to travel to Cuba. Keep it out in the forefront so people will know that that is now something that you're doing, and it will become consistent because people will see it regularly. And if you're regularly posting it, it's consistent. Always make sure that your web links work. If you're posting something, and I'm an edit queen, when I post really early in the morning, 4 a.m. Pacific time here, and sometimes I have typos, and I go back and check my social media by 6 a.m. and double check, and I go, oh, I got a typo, let me correct it. Edit is your best friend. Edit. If you see you have an error, make sure it works, and as soon as you post something, check your own post. Click that link and make sure it worked, and make sure it worked and went where you were expecting it to go. Because if it doesn't go where you're expecting it to go, what's your client going to see when they click it? Very important, and that's a part of being consistent. You have to do those types of things. Now remember, each network is going to require a different type of approach. So what you're doing on Facebook may not necessarily work on Instagram, right? So you might have to alter some of the words, but you need to still keep that message consistent. So if you're still talking about going to Jamaica and you just became a Jamaica specialist, put that Jamaica post out there. Make sure you have your web page, but also, you can use hashtags on Instagram and on Facebook. Now, you're not limited to 240 characters like you would be limited if it was a Twitter post. So why not do them both? When you post on Instagram, there is the button that will allow you to post on Instagram and Facebook. It would be the same exact posting. So why not utilize it with the hashtags? Hashtags is a way that people will actually look up your posts. So if someone did hashtag fun, they click hashtag fun, whatever's the most current thing that was put out there for hashtag fun will pop up. Your posting will post in that, right? Do this consistently. If you're doing it consistently, what's going to happen is your business is going to continue to grow, or at least your social media will get more recognition. And if people are looking at your social media, ultimately, they're going to either buy or inquire. So that's really, really important. On your LinkedIn account, you can actually still use hashtags. You might not want them to be so cheeky. You don't want to have inappropriate hashtags. Like you just want to make sure it's professional, because that's a professional network with professional people who are doing business professionally. So again, I would refrain from using a lot of non-professional hashtags, like you might do business women, fundraiser for the cure. If you're talking about an event that you're doing travel for, you just really need to make sure it's appropriate, and you can pretty much deem what's appropriate for your audience, or you should be. And if you cannot, please feel free to contact me and we can talk about it a bit. Again, because LinkedIn is professional, you do want to make sure that you are not putting anything that's really cheeky or, just not professional. Let's go on and talk about our next topic, auditing your audiences on each of your social network, which kind of gets to what I was just talking about. Your audience may be, the fun family crew when you're on Facebook, and it just might be because that's who engages in your pages. But clearly, if you're on LinkedIn, that's not necessarily going to be the same audience. And you need to make sure that you have a gauge on who your audience is in which format of your social media network. Why? Because you don't want to do anything that would turn off your potential clients, and you don't want to do anything that's going to be offensive to potential clients, and you also don't want to do anything that's going to alienate you from your potential clients, because your clients are your lifeline, your bread your butter, and the meat and bulk of your business. And so it's important to know what types of posts are people following, and what is the clientele base that are following you on Facebook versus which people are following you on Instagram. On Instagram, are you getting a lot of follow for follows where it's people who are like business networkers, or are you getting people with children following you, or are you getting like spammy kind of people? If those are the people following you on Instagram, you certainly don't want to market to those people on Facebook, because you want to make sure that you are in touch with people who are actually utilizing your business, not necessarily follow for follow, but people either you can, one, network with and grow your business, two, people who will utilize your services, or three, people who will refer people to your business. I always say, you know, as a network marketer, because we're all in a network marketing company, even if you're not a big brand builder in terms of building a team, you still have three potential clients. If you put a post out there for a travel party, or you're looking for agents, you have options, or talking about your business. The first one is, I am a travel agent. I want your business. The second one is, you can be a travel agent too, and I can show you how. That would be the second part of your business. And the third one would be, you don't want to be a travel agent, but I'd appreciate it if you can refer me to someone who's either interested in booking travel or interested in becoming a travel agent. Those are your three channels. And if your audience isn't meeting one of those three things, they're not really valid audience members. The follow for follow, unless you're actually working with those people or getting referrals from those people, honestly don't count. You don't remove them from your social media, but you don't even count them in terms of engagement, because they're just posting something so that you'll post something. But if you never actually work or network with these people, and you can't refer people to them to provide a service, and you don't feel comfortable providing providing a referral to them for a service, they're just kind of extra numbers. And extra numbers are fine in terms of being able to say, I have 1,500 followers, but I don't have 1,500 followers that I network with, do business with, or actually engage with. So you do want to audit who is in your audience, because that's really, really important. If you have Google Analytics, some of us have our own personal web pages. And I have a personal web page that's not provided by Evolution Travel. It's important that you're looking at your Google Analytics, because it will give you a review of your audience. It'll tell you, what location are people looking at your posts from. It'll tell you about the demographics. Was it a female? Was it a male? Sometimes it'll even tell you an age bracket. If you do something like post an event on Eventbrite, Eventbrite will even give you Googlealytics and will tell you, where did people see your post? Did they pick it up from Twitter? Did they pick it up from Facebook? Did they see it on LinkedIn? Did they get it off of a Facebook page? Did they get it out of a Facebook group? This is really, really important information, because it also lets you know what streams of people are actually working. Where are they contacting you from in their social media? And are they actually clicking to get more information? So that's a really, really important step there, auditing your audience on each and every one of your social networks. And if you find, once you've done an audit, if you're getting like junk, and I say junk again, that would be that follow for follow versus people who are actually engaged in looking at your page, looking a little further at your trips, looking a little further at the opportunity, or actually attending your travel parties, which you can tell from an Eventbrite invitation, because it does give you those demographics, then you'll know, hey, this is working or this is not working. And why spin the wheel on stuff that's not currently working? Focus on the things that are working until you have time to focus on a strategy to develop those other avenues that are not working. So now we're going to move on to step number 5, which is review your activities on each of the social networks. So this one all ties into everything that I just said. What content are you posting? We talked about this in our very first discussion last week. Your pages should not just be like business, business, business. Like, take a trip here. Here's a trip to Tahiti. This is me showing pictures of Hawaii. This is a picture of someone who went on a trip that I booked to Jamaica. You want to engage people. Put out a poll occasionally and say, where would you go if money were no object? Put posts out there and say, I am Pamela Tate Roger. I am a travel agent. I am a specialist in the following areas. I would love to service you. I would love to help your church develop a fundraiser. I would love to work with your social group. I would love to assist you in planning a vacation, or I can show you how travel can pay you too. At least once a month, every single person should be reposting their certificate that they are a travel agent, along with that simple introduction. My name is, this is my contact information. Here is my website. I am a specialist in the following area. I would love to assist you. I would love a referral from you. And I would love to show you how you can do what I do as well. That simple. Right? Really simple, and we definitely want to make sure that we are consistent with reviewing our activities and making sure that it doesn't just look like you've posted a bunch of trips. They don't know who's the person that's booking the trips. They don't know anything about the person who's booking trips. Post pictures of you traveling. And remember, we talked about this. If you're just coming fresh into a business and you don't have money to travel, and I am not fresh in a business, and I currently do not have money to travel because I have children who are about to go to college. I have a graduation this year, and I have another child who's graduating next year, and a couple of major trips that are coming up with their school activities. So we'll be going to Chicago for a baseball tournament. We'll be going to the South for a sojourn to the past, to kind of visit historical civil rights sites. I have 2 college visits, and then of course she will graduate next year, and then we will be going to South Korea again for her baseball tournament. So not to include evolution activities that we have to go to and from, and just life. So if you don't have money to be doing a bunch of extra trips, everything can be seen as an activity for you to post on your social media. If you go to a restaurant downtown in San Francisco, take pictures of the restaurant and talk about the new hip restaurant that's going on in San Francisco. If you go to a hotel in San Francisco, talk about staycations. What can people do if they're staying in town? Because the people in town will go, hey, I hadn't thought about doing that. But the people from out of town will go, hey, when I go to San Francisco, I want to go to see the new MoMA Museum, or I want to go to that new restaurant, or that's a cool rooftop garden restaurant. I want to go there. It puts you out in the community. It puts you out showing that you're going places, even if it's local places, because people who are not local don't view that as local, right? They've never been there, and it shows them someplace that they may wish to travel to. So you want to make sure that you're doing that as well. Now, again, people want to see people be a product of the product. And there's nothing wrong with using some of your older trips. If you've gone on an older trip, utilizing those pictures. I still use my Paris pictures, and I haven't been to Paris in over 4 years, but I use them. You know why? People don't go to Paris every day. And they go, wow, that's a nice picture. Or they think, wow, when I go to Paris, I'd like to do that too, right? So it's okay to use older items. Just try not to use them as frequently as you would newer items. And again, you can schedule things in your local area, like the new hotels at your local area. Or if you just happen to go like something as small as 15 minutes away, like here to San Jose is an hour. If I go to the Fairmont in San Jose, I'm going to post, hey, San Jose Fairmont Hotel. It's a Fairmont, right? Somebody might not have been to San Jose and they might have to go for business. It's the heart of the Silicon Valley. Why not post that information? You can call your local hotels and say, hi, I'm interested in doing a tour with your sales manager or your reservations manager and say, I'm doing hotel tours for people who are potentially coming here for a family reunion. They will be happy to have you go through the hotel. Tell them you're going to take pictures of the rooms. Tell them you want to see the restaurants. You want to see everything in the hotel and post it on your social media. You can post it immediately. You can post it again in 6 months. You can post it in 4 months. You can give those pictures to clients who are interested in possibly coming here or wherever you go. You should always be taking pictures because you are a travel agent, and those types of activities should be on your social media. It should be on everything with the exception of LinkedIn. There's no reason you can't post this on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Periscope. You know, you can do a Periscope live tour of the Fairmont in San Jose. You can do a Paramount tour. You know what I mean? You can do whatever you need to do in order to sell that location, to let people know that you are doing things other than talking about travel. You're experiencing travel as well. You want to have a good balance between talking about potential things to do, potential trips that you currently have out there if you have any group trips, and of course, your specialty. So if your specialty is, let's go with Jamaica and Cuba and Europe, those three things should be the bread and butter of your page. But if you book a client and they went to Hawaii, do it as a testimonial from a client. Just booked a trip for my clients to Hawaii. Post a couple of pictures of them with your client's permission, of course, and say they had a great time. Stayed at Sheraton Resort, Maui, loved it, great service. Show pictures of them enjoying themselves and say, I love working with my clients. They had a great time. The Sheraton is a beautiful property, and leave it at that. If someone's interested, it's going to plant in their mind. They're going to say, oh, she booked a couple to go to Hawaii. That's awesome. I'm going to think about her when we need to book a trip. You want to do that kind of subtle stuff. You don't have to overkill, but make sure that you are posting those types of things on your social media. And you don't want it where it's constantly talking about yourself. You definitely want to talk about others. You definitely want to talk about your clients. You want to talk about even the vendors that you're working with. Oh, it was great working with Sue's over at the Fairmont in San Jose for this event. Or, you know, give people credit. Say the concierge at the Morocco Sheraton really helped my clients on their honeymoon. Put those types of things out there because people know, oh, she has relationships with the vendors, right? And those relationships translate into great experiences for people when they arrive at these destinations. So the types of content that you definitely want to do, you want to make sure that you're posting. If you're doing anything that's linking to other content, make sure it's on your own page. So like I said, I book trips with other agents, and they may be the primary, i.e. the Super Bowl cruise, but on my own website, I have my own page and information about the trip. Make sure you're referring people back to your own sites and your own resources, because if I'm referring them to a different travel agent, it looks like I'm referring them to a different travel agent. So why would they book anything with me, right? So we need to be cognizant of that when we're doing this as well. It's just making sure that everything should lead back to you. You can compliment someone else, you can work with someone else, but you always want to make sure that at the end of the day that your client base is comfortable with you and will come back to you, correct? Did anybody have any questions so far? Okay. Well, now I'm going to talk about how often do you post. We have some posters who I call mega posters. And again, as we're talking about doing lots of posts, one thing you want to make sure that you're really cognizant of is that you're posting, and it's great to post, and you don't want to post too much or post where it's like overkill. In general, some people will post 8 to 10 times a day, and that works for them. I tend to post first thing in the morning when I get up. It's a good morning post. And then I will post, something to engage people. Say good morning, have a great day, or some type of motivational thing, hoping for engagement. then I will post something and say, it's a great day to travel, or something travel related, or one of my trips that I'm sponsoring or that I'm selling. And then later on, I'll do something like such and such went on a vacation, or, it'll just be something about life, or I saw a post. I try and do a song of the day post. I try and do it at least a couple of days a week. It might be a quote of the day. There's all kinds of things that you can come up with in terms of what you'd like to consistently post. But the goal is you want people to kind of see your post and go, everything is not about travel. They want to learn a little bit about you. So like if I post my favorite post, that gives someone a little glimpse about me. If I post something about my kids, it gives them a little glimpse of my family. If I post something about a trip that I'm booking, I'm trying to put that information out there. It gives them a little glimpse of, okay, this is the next thing that she's working on. And I'll tag people in those in case they kind of disappear and don't get noticed or hidden in the Facebook timeline. If I'm targeting those people, I'll say, hey, are you and your friends interested? Or I'll just tag them in the post, and then I'll write in the comments and say, hey, are you guys interested? Or do you know anybody who's interested in going on this trip? And leave it at that. And then, of course, you want to engage with your fellow agents and friends on Facebook. It's not sufficient to just be like, yeah, I posted what I posted for the day, and I'm not going to engage with anybody. If somebody posts something, write something back. I hope you're having a good day. Or, oh, your daughter's so pretty. Or, oh, this looked like it was fun. Engage with other people. It's social media. We're supposed to be engaging with each other, right? We want to make sure that we're doing that. And part of that, again, goes to our next step, which is analyzing our audience engagement. If you're posting something specifically about trips or anything that you might have boosted the post where you've paid for it to get in front of additional people, you want to analyze that, because you don't just want to throw money out to the wind. You want to make sure that your social media efforts are actually getting results. So your conversion rate, the number of people that they say that should have seen the post. And then you want to look at how many people actually engaged the post, meaning how many people clicked like, or did somebody, put sad face or tears? How many people actually commented? And for me, that's not enough either. When I see someone has liked it, I go and look at their profile. Is this a real profile, or is this one of those spam profiles where I was like, I got 50 people who did spam, meaning they only had a picture of themselves. They had a post that said something like they live in Kentucky and they only had 2 posts on their page, or they've only been on Facebook for like a month. That's not a relevant audience engagement member to me. I know nothing about them. I don't know how to target them. I don't know if they're a real person. I don't know if they're potentially even real clients. They just popped up like. So for me, that could have been 50 people who made fake profiles, and Facebook is having them tab that they liked something because I paid them and they were supposed to deliver an audience. So you really want to monitor and engage and really, really, really watch that. Also, you want to watch that applause rate, which is what I was just talking about. The people who hit like. Who are these people? Where do they live? Did they say they wanted to go to Jamaica? Because if they did, you want to put them on your Jamaica tickler file. So, when you're advertising Jamaica, make friends of them and then tag them in the post to remind them, Jamaica's still happening. Are you interested in coming? Or maybe later on, or maybe they'll tell friends. So you want to make sure you're engaging with them as well. And here's your final one. Audit your competition. Audit your competition. I know we like to say, the only competition I am in is with myself and getting better. And in order for you to get better, you have to monitor your competition, because believe me, there's someone out there that's doing the same thing that you're doing. And you want to see, how are they building their presence? What do their pages look like? How do they present themselves? What's in their bio that's different than your bio? Are they actually more successful than you? Then you want to emulate those people who are doing better than you, or where you believe you would like to be, and study them. Amy Uribe Patterson, before she came over to Evolution, told us. She said, yeah, I was looking at people's Facebook pages and I was like, okay, they're selling trips to here, or this person is a gold, or this person is a platinum. This person is doing a lot of talking about traveling. This person is really team building. Know who is your competition and look at their pages. What kind of engagement are they getting on their pages? Are people clicking that they like their posts? What does their business profile say that's different than yours? Right? Check and see how active are they in each one of the networks. Are they on Facebook? Are they on Instagram? Do they do work on LinkedIn? Do you find them on Periscope? Do you find them on Pinterest? How often are they posting? Right? And do they have anyone that you find influential that is following them that you'd like to be following you? You want to basically compare and contrast and check out their social media and see what's working for them and how can it work for you. And those are the 7 steps that I have put together for you to audit your social media. Does anyone have any questions? Because I am pretty much done with my presentation at this time.
Wow, Pam, I never knew that I never considered that with the boosting Facebook ads, because I've done that a couple times, that the people they're engaging may not even be real.
Yeah, if you look back at those pages, sometimes it'll be like, I get spammed all the time. This is a weird story. When Facebook first started, I was a friend with Mark Zuckerberg. And it was a smaller audience other than people outside of Harvard. And so we were friends, and I don't know him, and I'm not claiming that I know him, but
right.
When you get there and, it's kind of like think Tom of MySpace. Everybody was friends with Tom.
Yeah.
Well, whenever I post something on Mark Zuckerberg's page, even to this day, I start getting a lot of friend requests, and they're really random friend requests. I'm like, who is this person? And I go and check their page. And so I now do the same thing with my engagement whenever I'm paying for a boost, because you'll find these fake profiles where people are just kind of like, oh, she wrote to Mark Zuckerberg. He's actually answered twice. And then they're like, oh my God, he answered her. So then they're like looking, and then it's like, this is not even a real profile. They're in Dubai, or they're in Mumbai,
friends,
some little country that I've never heard of. And then you look at it, and then all of a sudden you're getting these links for like bootleg movies.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, this is not even a real profile. And then I block them.
Yeah.
So you do want to check that with Facebook, because, they have over 1 billion users. There's no way for them to monitor every single person. And sometimes things slip through their algorithms. So you want to check that, particularly when you're spending your money.
Right. And I actually got put in Facebook jail, not even posting on Facebook for sending messages in Messenger.
Yes, because if that comes off spammy, or if it's the same message repeatedly, it can be seen as spam or construed as unwanted mail, which you can be blocked for. Or if someone reports it, then they'll put you in jail.
Right. Okay. Oh boy, it's a lot of work.
It is a lot of work, but it's free advertising. We do have to keep engaged unless you're paying for boosts. And if you're paying for boosts, you do have a right to expect to get your money's worth as well.
Yeah, true that.
Yeah.
That's true. Thank you, Pam.
No problem. Did anybody else have any questions or anything? Okay. Well, I recorded this, and I will definitely put that out there into the universe. But that's basically all I had this week. And so I hope everybody enjoyed. And we should come up with a topic for next week. You guys can inbox me and let me know what it is you'd like to work on. And actually, maybe next week I'm going to talk about an epic fail, because I think that we all learn from other people's mistakes, and maybe we can all talk about marketing, branding fails, or things that we could have done better so that we can all improve our services. And I have no problem with doing that. I think that's what I'll do next week. Epic fails. So that'll be our topic.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for coming. I see a chat, which are hard to see. Oh, no problem, Eileen. Thanks for joining us. And I'm going to go on and close this out, because I have to run to my 11 o'clock meeting every Tuesday at the end of this. So you guys have a great week. Feel free to inbox me. I am Pamela Tate Roger, in case we are not Facebook friends and you have questions. And thanks for joining me. This is Tea Time Travel Training with Pam. Have an excellent day. Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.